I always thought cheating was something that happened to other people. Not to me. Not to us. Emma and I had been together for 6 years, married for 4. We had a life people envied, a nice house, steady jobs, weekend getaways. She was my best friend, the person I trusted most in the world. But trust is a fragile thing. And once it cracks, you start seeing the world differently. You start questioning everything. It began with something small. A text notification on her phone while she was in the shower. Normally, I wouldn't even glance at it. But lately, something felt off. She had been distant, distracted. Laughing at messages she wouldn't let me see. Guarding her phone like it held the nuclear codes. I didn't unlock it. I wasn't that kind of husband. But I didn't need to. The preview on the lock screen was enough. Tonight, no name. Just a number. Just one word that made my stomach drop. I told myself it was innocent. A coworker, a friend. I shoved the suspicion down, buried it beneath years of trust. But that night, when she crawled into bed, I caught a scent on her skin. Cologne. Not mine. The next few weeks were torture. I wasn't the type to accuse without proof, but the signs kept piling up. She was coming home late from meetings. That didn't add up. She started dressing up more, putting on perfume just to run errands. Her laughter felt forced, her kisses mechanical. Then came the business trip. She told me she had to leave town for a few days for work. A last-minute conference. I kissed her goodbye, told her to call me when she landed, and wished her a safe flight. That night, I tracked her location. She never left the city. I sat in our dark living room, staring at the glowing on the screen, my heart pounding. She was lying to me. Right now. In real time. But where was she? I wasn't ready to face the truth yet. Not without proof. The next day, I did something I never thought I'd do. I followed her. And what I found shattered me. I followed the location on my phone, gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. Her dot hadn't moved much. It was in the city, in a residential neighborhood I didn't recognize. My heart pounded as I parked down the street. The address led to a small, modern-looking apartment building. Not an office, not a hotel. A home. I waited. Minutes passed like hours. Then the door opened. Emma stepped out, adjusting her coat. She wasn't alone. A man followed her. Tall, dark-haired, confident. He placed a hand on her lower back, guiding her toward a car. She smiled at him, the kind of smile I hadn't seen in months. I felt like I was going to be sick. I snapped a picture. Proof. My mind was racing, emotions clashing, rage, heartbreak, disbelief. Part of me wanted to storm over, demand answers, rip this guy apart. Another part wanted to disappear, to pretend I hadn't seen anything. Instead, I followed them. They drove across the city, eventually stopping at an upscale restaurant. They walked inside like any normal couple, laughing, leaning close, lost in each other. My wife and him. I sat in my car, gripping my phone. My head spun. What now? Confront her here? Wait until she got home and act like I didn't know? My mind spiraled with worst-case scenarios. Then my phone buzzed. It was Emma. I stared at the screen, my breath caught in my throat. Emma, hey babe, just landed. Exhausted. I'll call you in the morning. Love you. I let out a bitter laugh. She was still lying to me, even now. Even as she sat across from him, sipping wine, probably touching his hand under the table. I had my proof. Now I just had to decide what to do with it. I didn't sleep that night. I kept replaying everything over and over in my head, every touch, every glance, every lie. By the time Emma came home the next evening, I had a plan. I played it cool. Greeted her with a kiss, acted normal. If she was surprised by how calm I was, she didn't show it. Maybe she thought she got away with it. Maybe she thought I was still the clueless, trusting husband. She told me all about her business trip, the long meetings, the boring hotel food, the flight delays. I smiled, nodded, pretended to listen. I asked her how the conference went. She lied to my face. That was the moment I knew I wasn't just dealing with a mistake. This wasn't guilt-driven regret. This was calculated. She had made a choice, and she had chosen him. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to cry. I was going to make her regret it. That night, while she slept, I started putting my plan into motion. I transferred half of our joint savings into a private account. I collected all the evidence, the texts, the pictures, the location data. I contacted a lawyer. Then I sent a message. Not to her. To him. Me, I know about you and Emma. Let's talk. I expected a denial, maybe even silence. But within minute, he responded. Unknown number. Who is this? I smirked. Me, her husband. His reply took longer this time. When it came, it was shorter than I expected. Unknown number. Meet me. That was all I needed. I agreed to meet him the next day. But what he told me would change everything. The next evening, I pulled up to the meeting spot, an old bar on the outskirts of town, the kind of place where people didn't ask questions. I walked in, scanning the room, and spotted him immediately. He was already there, sitting in a dark booth at the back, a whiskey glass in his hand. His eyes locked onto mine as I approached. Didn't think you'd show, he said, voice calm, almost amused. I want answers, I said, sliding into the seat across from him. He studied me, swirling the whiskey in his glass. You think you know everything, don't you? I clenched my jaw. I know enough. I know you've been seeing my wife. I know she's been lying to me. What I don't know is why the hell you're acting like you're the victim here. He exhaled through his nose, a smirk playing on his lips. Then he leaned forward and dropped the bombshell. I didn't know she was married. I blinked. Bullshit. She told me she was single. He reached into his jacket, pulled out his phone, and slid it across the table. See for yourself. I hesitated before picking it up. My heart pounded as I scrolled through their messages. Emma had told him her name was Emily. She had a whole separate life. In their text, she talked about how she'd been single for years, how she'd had her heart broken before, but was finally ready to move on. There were messages of them planning trips together, her telling him she loved him. She wasn't just cheating. She was living a double life. I set the phone down, my fingers numb. How long? A little over a year, he admitted. I met her at a charity event downtown. She told me she was a marketing consultant, said she had a crazy schedule, but wanted to take things slow. She never stayed over, never let me meet her friends. Now I know why. I felt like my brain was short-circuiting. The woman I thought I knew had been playing both of us. And then he said something that made my stomach drop. She's not just lying to us, man. He leaned in, voice low. She's lying about everything. I frowned. What do you mean? He hesitated, then reached into his jacket again. This time, he pulled out a small envelope. I hired a private investigator a few weeks ago. Something felt off. Like she wasn't telling me the whole truth. He slid the envelope across the table. My fingers trembled as I opened it. Inside were printed reports. Fake names. Different addresses. Bank accounts under different aliases. Emily wasn't just cheating. She was running a con. I looked up at him, my mouth dry. Who is she? He shook his head. That's the real question, isn't it? My whole body went cold. This wasn't just a broken marriage anymore. This was something much, much worse. And I had no idea what I was about to uncover next. I sat there, gripping the papers with trembling hands. My mind refused to accept what I was seeing. Multiple names, multiple addresses, fake bank accounts. Emily, whoever the hell she was, wasn't just cheating on me. She wasn't just lying about a business trip. She had been lying about everything. I looked up at the man sitting across from me, my supposed rival. He wasn't smirking anymore. There was no arrogance in his expression. Just quiet, grim realization. I swallowed hard. You're telling me she's been doing this to other people? He nodded. At least 2 other guys from what my PI found. She plays the role, gets into their lives, and then she disappears. I exhaled sharply, running a hand through my hair. My heart was racing, my brain trying to make sense of it all. She didn't disappear from my life, I muttered. She married me. His eyes darkened. Which means you're different. I stared at him. She's never gone this far before, he continued. The others? She strung them along, maybe took some money, but she never actually married them. You? She put down roots. She played the long game. I shook my head. That doesn't make sense. We have a house together. A life. We. And then it hit me. The money. Our accounts. I had moved half our savings into a private account the night before, but we still had investment, shared credit cards, a mortgage. I grabbed my phone and logged into our banking app. My fingers shook as I scrolled through our accounts. Then my stomach dropped. Our joint savings account had been drained. $30,000. Gone. I shot up from my seat, nearly knocking the table over. She's cleaning me out. The other man's eyes widened, and for the first time, I saw something new in his face, fear. This isn't just about you, he said, his voice low. She's running from something. I barely heard him. My mind was moving a mile a minute. I needed to get home. I needed to stop her. I stormed out of the bar, leaving him behind. My car roared to life, tires screeching as I sped down the streets, blowing past red lights. My only thought was getting back before it was too late. When I pulled into the driveway, the house was dark. Too dark. I ran to the front door. It was unlocked. My pulse hammered as I stepped inside. The air felt wrong, like the house wasn't ours anymore, like it had been abandoned. I flicked on the lights, and then I saw it. The living room was nearly empty. The paintings were gone. The small decorations, the bookshelf vanished. The framed photos of us, the ones on the mantel, the ones on the walls, every single one had been taken, like she had erased herself from my life. I sprinted upstairs to our bedroom. The closet doors were wide open, but the shelves were bare. Her clothes were gone. The drawers were empty. The only thing left was a single envelope. Sitting on the bed, my hands were ice cold as I reached for it. Slowly, I tore it open, pulling out the letter inside. It was short, almost cruelly so. I'm sorry it had to end this way. You were never supposed to find out. Please don't try to follow me. No, Emma. No, Emily. Just A. I stared at the letter, my breath ragged. My legs gave out, and I sank onto the bed. This wasn't real. This wasn't happening. The woman I had loved, the woman I had trusted, had never even existed. And she was gone.